Hello students, as I had told you earlier, the present segment would be on the structure and the development of thought of Ode on a Grecian Urn. Now let's come to the development of thought first. Look at the stanzas. As you can see, there are 5 stanzas, and each of these stanzas we'll see how they vary in the rhyme scheme. They are not completely similar to each other, similar to one another. And the first stanza actually addresses the urn, and through a lot of rhetorical questions in it, we get to understand how the urn is decorated. So it presents the urn, it pictures the urn, rather it describes the urn through a lot of rhetorical questions. Stanza 2 and stanza 3 goes to the description in further detail and describes and brings out rather the contrast between what is painted on the urn and the reality of human experience. Now this contrast between the figures on the urn, the Attic shape, so to say, and the fact of actuality are in this, the contrast is actually two-pronged. The urns tell us that human experience, by contrast they tell us that human experience is always bound up by time. It's always limited by the fact of mutability. Eternity cannot be experienced in our everyday human experience in the way we lead it normally. But there is also another suggestion over here that comes out through the nearly oxymoronic expression of cold pastoral, where Keats means to say that despite the fact that these movements or these pictures on the urn are somewhat of very important and vital moments of life, and they have been fixed into immortality by art, but still they lack the vitality, the liveliness of life itself. So I've told you it's two-pronged. So if everyone asks you about the ironic aspect of the poem, you'll have to point out the two-pronged nature of the contrast between the figures of the urn and human experience in general. Human experience, I'll repeat, is bound by the fact of mutability. The urn, however, is to some extent immortal. That's why we have been calling it quasi-immortal or quasi-permanent. But the liveliness, the life that we find in human life itself, in our everyday life itself, the pulse of life is absent over there. And that is most emphatically suggested by the fact that the pursuing lover will pursue the beloved, and they will remain forever young, but they will never be able to consummate their love with a kiss. Now let's come to stanza 4. We're doing the development of thought, and in stanza 4 the thought is developed by some more questions. You'll see in all, if you count, that there are 10 questions, some of them rhetorical, in the poem. And what comes out in a very effectual way in stanza 4 is the imagery, is the image of sacrifice over here, somehow suggesting the fact that we are all going to be sacrificed to the altar of time. We are all, like the heifer that's lowing to the sky over there. And stanza 5, the first part of the stanza, each stanza I'll tell you a little bit later how it's divided into two parts. In stanza 5, the first part of the stanza talks about what the poet feels about the urn, what the poet feels about the philosophical import of the urn. And the second part of the stanza tells us, in fact, the last three lines, they tell us what the urn tells us. And why does the urn tell us? It's a kind of if we can recapitulate, the urn has been called the sylvan historian, and it's the duty of a historian not only to present facts but also to bring out the truth inherent in those facts. So that's all about the development of thought. Then we come to the stanzaic pattern. Each of these 5 stanzas have 10 lines, and these lines are in the rhythm of the line, the metrical pattern of the lines is iambic pentameter. Now, what is iambic pentameter? Each line can be divided into 10 syllables, and the stress falls on the second syllable of each unit. That each unit is called foot. You don't have to get into such technical details. For example, thou still unravished, or thou still, the stress falls on still, on the second syllable. Or you can say the stress falls on every alternating syllable. And each line, as I've told you, is divided into 10 syllables, can be broken down into 10 syllables. You can try this by your own. We are going to show you the innovations that Keats performs in the rhyme scheme over here. What you have to remember is each of the, as I told you right a few minutes before, each of the stanzas are divided into 2 parts, structurally, not thematically, so to say, structurally. The first part is like a quatrain, the first 4 lines, and then comes the next 6 lines. Each stanza is a 10-line stanza, as already told you. Now, the rhyme scheme of the first 4 lines remain the same for all these stanzas, and it is A-B-A-B. Thou still unravished bride of quietness, A. Thou foster child of silence and slow time, so quietness A, time B. Sylvan historian, who canst thou express, again A. A flowery, because express rhymes with quietness. A flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme, B. Time and rhyme rhyming together. You need to have the text in front of you. I hope all of you have the text in front of you. So you see the rhyme scheme over here is A-B, A-B. But let's look at the rhyme scheme later, coming from right now, for the last 6 lines. What lip-fringed legend haunt about thy shape? We'll take it as C, shape. And where is this, the other word that rhymes with shape at the end? The last word of the second last line of the stanza, escape. So write C beside shape and then C beside escape. Of deities or mortals or of both, this is D because this doesn't rhyme with anything given previously. In Tempe or the dales of Arcady, this is also a new thing. D, E, Arcady would be E. What main or gods are these? What maiden loth? Now both rhymes with loth, so write D beside loth. And Arcady rhymes with what pipes and timbrels, what wild ecstasy. Rhymes with ecstasy. So write E over there. So what does the rhyme scheme come out to be? A, B, A, B, C, D, E, D, C, E. C, D, E and C, D, E would have been the regular one. Anyway, A, B, A, B, C, D, E, D, C, E. This is a rhyme scheme that comes out in the first stanza. Now, since I can't show it right over here, I'm not editing this video to any extent because that would only make the video heavier and difficult to upload and download. I will ask you to ask me questions if you have any difficulty in finding out the rhyme scheme. Now let's go to the next stanzas. You can ask me questions via WhatsApp or even in the comments of this YouTube video. Hard melodies are sweet, but those unhard are sweeter. You see, look at the first 4 lines. There's no point in wasting time. We have A, B, A, B, similar to what we had in the previous stanza. And now let's come to the last 6 lines because this is intriguing. Fair youth, beneath the trees thou canst not leave. You have leave as C, and then you go down. The next last word is bear, then kiss, then grieve. You know, leave rhymes with grieve. So you write C beside leave and C beside grieve. Thy song nor ever can those trees be bare. Trees be bare. Bare, write D. And what rhymes with bare? Come to the very last line, last word of the last line of the stanza. Fair. D. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss. With kiss, kiss is E over here, and it rhymes with the only word that is left, bliss. So what does this rhyme scheme of this stanza emerge to be? A, B, A, B, C, D, E, C, E, D. What was that of the previous stanza? A, B, A, B, C, D, E, D, C. Now, if you go in a similar way, you will find that the rhyme scheme of the third stanza is A, B, A, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. It's the most regular one. The third stanza, C, D, E, C, D, E. A, B, A, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. I'll ask you to understand this by marking the lines by yourself. Come to the fourth one. The same stanzaic pattern is followed. A, B, A, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. And come to the fifth one. What do you normally find in a romantic poetry? Think of Blake's Tiger. What is the final stanza? A repetition of the first stanza. Of course, with a very vital change in it, suggesting a kind of progression. Here, obviously, in the words or lines, we don't have the repetition over there, but the stanzaic pattern or the rhyme scheme repeats that of the first stanza. A B A B, C D E, D C E. So the first stanza is A B A B, C D E, D C E. Second stanza is A B A B, C D E, C E D. Third stanza A B A B, C D E, C D E. Fourth stanza A B A B, C D E, C D E, the same. And the fifth stanza is A B A B, C D E, C D E. Now, why does Keats follow a bipartite division in each of his stanzas? Perhaps because it wonderfully goes with the two-pronged thematic structure of the poem, a poem that not only talks about the mutability of human existence, but also points out the limitations of art in not being able to completely to completely arrest a moment of human life in all its vitality and liveliness. With this, we are going to end our study of Ode on a Grecian Urn. Our next video slot is going to be on another ode, the last of the odes, to autumn. Thank you, students.